I said, hey, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Mojados, and we're back with another video. Today, we're going to be jumping into the markets. What has happened? What have we missed? We missed last week's update because I was pretty much on vacation to Puerto Rico, guys. And Puerto Rico is a nice place for my U.S. citizens out there who are listening. It is a tax haven. You can pretty much walk away with 0% tax when you live there and you meet the requirements. But this is not a Puerto Rico video, even though it's a place that I am strongly considering with what's being proposed in the United States with crazy amount of capital gains tax, guys. It's just absolutely insane. I already pay so much, and it's just crazy to think that they're trying to increase it even more. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, just want to don't get like too sidetracked there. But basically, Bitcoin is at 63K. ETH has dropped to 3,100. Solana, BNB fighting for that number 4th spot, and the market is pretty much just chopping along here. And I want to preface this video pretty much off of my, Twitter account because again, that's kind of where I share a lot of things. And this is probably the biggest thing that you got to take into consideration here, right? Because crypto at the end of the day is all about narratives, right? And right now, this is probably the biggest thing that's happened. 11,000 likes and 1.2 million impressions on this post. And guys, when this happened, this was like breaking news because again, this is impacting every single crypto asset you can think of. Every ERC20 token on the Ethereum network is going to be impacted in some way, shape, or form. Even if they are successful in this lawsuit or not, Ethereum definitely held an ICO. And again, there is going to be some sort of fines, in my opinion. I don't know if it'll be considered a security, but again, it is absolutely shocking to see this happen because, again, who would have thought this would have happened, especially after all has taken place with the Ripple lawsuit, right? And so this is very interesting, and I do think that the ETF in May is going to get rejected now, simply because a lawsuit against the SEC can't be, in effect at the same time. They can't even determine the legal status. So we'll see what happens. It's really just a turf war across the board, and I do believe that the next administration is going to carry out this nonsense, whether it's, pro legislation, pro crypto legislation, or even the opposite, right? Like, it just seems to me that every three-letter agency right now in the United States is continuing to just cause more harm, right? It's not just the SEC. If you're looking around the world, if you're looking around, you can kind of tell that this is all a play for more control, but I'm not going to get into it. So I do think this is going to probably drag out longer than most people understand. That doesn't mean Ethereum itself can't hit all-time highs. There's many more factors that play into it. However, it's always about the narrative. So I'm going to end this rant, but I just want you guys to understand where I'm thinking and how I'm thinking based off of what's happening in the space. And so with that, I've actually been pivoting towards pretty much what's happening in the market. And right now, I do think that crypto is pretty much getting ready to see its last leg up for BTC. And it's simply just because the dominance is starting to fall, right? And so this is pretty much it. It's really, really simple. BTC Dom is pretty much on the cusp of breaking down, in my opinion, right? So if we look here, we look at the monthly, we'll go back to the same exact candle and see what's happening. You kind of have this gigantic wick that takes up the high. Can it go higher? Can it continue chopping? I mean, I've been wrong about the timing of this so far many times, but the momentum is something that is definitely being lost, right? Because you can see again, this candle is pretty big. It goes up really fast. Lots of pressure behind that move, and then 2 candles to retrace about 70% of that move, and then it took 2 more candles to go up again, but it wasn't able to breach the high until about the 4th candle. So definitely in terms of time, the momentum is slowing down. We're not seeing a lot of money go rotate into Bitcoin, although we are seeing the overall, space in terms of total move to the upside. So there is that as well that plays it into effect in terms of, yes, the market itself is pretty much, kind of going down in terms of Bitcoin dominance. But all in all, like if you just look at total, we're still seeing money coming into the market and pretty much seeing a nice bounce off this level that we've shared before. Total 2, bouncing off the 8 EMA or very close to it, which is a level of support, in my opinion. Although I would like to see some sort of reclaim, but it wouldn't surprise me if we stay at this level for quite some time there, right? Longer than most people think. So we'll see what happens. Total 3 is also very interesting. I do think this is, going to take some more time to reset. It's not going to happen as fast as most people think. But again, in crypto, things tend to, resolve faster than most people like. So, we're going to see what happens here. I am pretty much very confident that we're going to start breaking down, right? And again, I could be completely wrong, but just looking at every single thing across the board, you see this is the stablecoin DOM chart, and you see hidden bearish divergence here as well, which basically means that from this previous high, what you can see is that RSI is at this level 37, and the RSI makes a new high passing 37, but price itself does not pass it. So this is considered hidden bearish divergence. And again, this happened within the length that we have here at 14. So if you were to count 14 candles from here, it pretty much qualifies to be hidden bearish divergence. So I would not be shocked if we fall down here to 5% sometime soon, which would mean that altcoins and Bitcoin itself would see a massive explosion. So again, this is going to take more time. This is going to pretty much play out in a way that most people are not expecting, but this is the things that we've been talking about week over week. So again, it's something to watch out for. And when we look at altcoins, guys, like the altcoins I'm eyeing, right now the top gainers are actually Dogecoin, something that I've shared, a while back. And for those who are really following along here, March 21st or 31st of 2023, we started the thread here. And again, I make these threads because some of them are informative, some of them are because I'm holding a position, and sometimes I'm rotating in and out of positions. But the idea here is to tell a story, right? To make you understand, or to help people understand that these things play out over time, right? There are phases in the market, and a lot of people can forget. And this is why, for me at least, when I document these threads and I make these threads, it's not just because, I'm looking to toot my own horn if I'm right or wrong, because I've definitely been right sometimes, and I'm definitely wrong other times. But it's more so just about, again, being more right than wrong, and pretty much capitalizing and making more money, of course, when you're right, when you do these things. Because again, at the end of the day, everybody has their own strategies, but the idea here is to, look at this and try to find like great entries and just document the stuff, right? And this is kind of like the moment where I went absolutely crazy. So I have this long thread, and Doge retraces perfectly the 61.8 region. And after it happens, this is literally like 2 days later, February 25th, 2024, it pretty much goes absolutely vertical, right? So, some people might call luck, some people are saying this and that, but if you look at the thread, you can see very clearly that it was prepping for this, and we were able to, time it almost perfectly, even though it took more than a year for it to play out. Most of these plays do happen in such a fast way that a lot of people don't even understand, right? So like, I still think 25 cents is coming soon, right? Even though right now, like, we saw a retest, and this retest is absolutely gorgeous, right? You can see the RSI, lots of strength, retest on the range high, just getting ready to go absolutely much higher, which is just like the best setup you can ask for across the board on this. And again, I would like to see a wick just hold above like a 17 cents to be even more confident. But this is just so clean that I just don't know why you would be bearish on this chart at all. And again, I have this thread here just because, again, I'm updating it constantly on what's happening, what I'm seeing, how things are playing out. And of course, Doge is the main meme coin in this whole space right now. If you look at that market cap size, it's like 18 billion or 21 billion, something like that. And what you can draw from that is, again, the narratives, right? If you made it this far in the video, if your attention span is if your attention span is high, guys, like, this is pretty much where it gets juicy, right? Dogecoin is a meme coin that leads all other meme coins. So guys, coins like Wen that are on Solana, something I've been talking about, again, is pretty much putting down its last leg, and guess what happens, right? It comes down here, hits our low, and there you go. Pretty much running to the upside. Like, I literally marked this stuff out for you guys. At the same time, like, you can see confluence across the board, like with Doge bouncing up 10%. This is exactly what you want to see for your altcoins, because they're pretty much going to get ready to explode, right? And the last one I want to share here is Bonk, actually. Bonk literally on April 18th, this is again last month, We saw pretty much a drop at the lows. It pretty much formed a perfect flat, an ABC correction, and we saw pretty much a 2x in literally like such a short time. And I cannot wait because I do believe this is probably going to 10x off the lows, which would be an absolutely monstrous gain. So we'll see what happens. But again, this is kind of following in line with like Dogecoin breaking out because again, Doge is the leader of meme coins. Wen and Bonk are literally like tier B and tier A meme coins on Solana. And Solana right now has the most activity, guys. So like you want to be trading where the money is. And to me, it's very, very clear that if you're not trading there, then you're not setting yourself up for success. Even though I'm not saying that, again, you can't make money elsewhere. So we'll see what happens. Solana is also holding up fairly decent. Not the best, but I do think this is going to continue chopping. And Bonk is just looks so good, guys. Like I just can't understand why you'd be so bearish on this chart, even though it may chop here for longer. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna take some time here for it to move, and so we'll see what happens. Again, it's gonna chop sideways, so we'll see what happens. And again, at the same time, I mean, you know, we're gonna look at ETH as well still because this chart is gonna keep chopping sideways here for some time. In my opinion, I think it's gonna be very interesting moving forward if ETH is able to make a new all-time highs because of the lawsuit, right? Like what exactly is going to happen? I don't know. I cannot tell. But honestly, guys, XRP right now, I'm just even more bullish on it. And I think it's kind of funny that as we approach the apex, as we get ready for some sort of breakout take place, like this is insane. Because again, like who would have thought that ETH would get sued? And now, you know, Ripple, after fighting for so many years, is going to be in a position to break free of the shackles against the SEC. XRP is going to be able to continue being traded by institutions because again, the legal status is not pretty much like unconfirmed. Like we know it's not a security, and at the same time, like who knows what exactly is going to unfold from like what exactly like you know the lawsuit is going to like pretty much like discover, right? And what I mean by that is like we know that Bank of America is on the sideline waiting. Like we know there's many institutions that have NDAs. We know there's like pre-allocated escrow for like other institutions in the US. Like all this stuff is blocked off, and like I do believe that much of this stuff is gonna like open up in the United States because we all know that Ripple's business and their revenue is 95% outside the US. So when we start seeing the headlines again that you know Ripple is pretty much able to actively participate in the US without like having a lot of trouble from the SEC, it's going to be very fun to watch because you know like it's gonna like have the narratives going for it because oh you're gonna see like Bank of America partnership, this partnership, that partnership, and at the end of the day, whether that increases in terms of speculation, whether it actually brings development onto the ledger, it doesn't really matter because we all know that XRP is gonna be like dominant in payments, and I do think that Ripple is continuing to succeed in that niche. So you know we'll see what happens, but this chart is just coiling and coiling and coiling for some sort of breakout that I'm just excited to watch. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of other coins as well, but at the end of the day, guys, like you just gotta focus on a couple of charts. Stop looking at a million goddamn charts because you're gonna overtrade and outtrade yourself. And again, like just focus on total here. Like this is very, very clean. I would like to see a breakout of the high here of 2.41. Like once we get above this level, guys, like that's pretty much it, right? Like I'll know from there, like we're going much higher because pretty much bears were, or yeah, the Bears weren't able to stop the Bulls from breaking at the all-time highs. Right now, the Bears are still in control. I mean, if you just look very easily, like this is still like pretty bearish, but I believe that we're close to the end of this correction. Should we break this high up here? But I also want to talk about Crown as well. Crown is looking very, very nice. Right now, it did further than I anticipated. And I'm going to be brutally honest. Some of these charts, I don't have a clear count in terms of Elliott wave, right? There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will sit here and try to give you charts and tell you things that they can't really put together themselves. But when I look at this, I mean, off the bat, like this is like clearly hidden bullish divergence. You have 14 candles, pretty much signaling that we're pretty much going to get ready to run up to the upside. So will we pretty much go lower here? Does it stop here? I don't have a clear answer. But what I do believe is that, you know, I do believe that somewhere at this level we'll probably bottom out, right? And then from there we'll probably start chopping and grinding back to the upside. But again, it's gonna take some more time. I do think that this is, um, you know, like it's like at a phase that needs more of a correction in terms of time than getting ready to break out when you compare it to things like Bonk, right? Like Bonk has been pretty much correcting for so long already that it doesn't need more time to correct. Um, and so, coins like Bonk look like they're gonna go right now. But right now, like coins like Crown, like it might be worth accumulating because it's pretty much dropping at these levels, and we're probably gonna see it phase out sometime soon. But when it does bottom, guys, it's only worth 123 million in terms of market cap, and I do think this is worth at least 5 billion in terms of market cap. So even from right now, guys, that's like a 50x if we were to get there. Well, it's not technically a 50x from this price, but it's close, right? Like maybe like 40, 35x. So it doesn't really matter right now. On-chain activity is absolutely skyrocketing. Everything in terms of on-chain is skyrocketing. So, we'll see exactly what happens there. And so, it's just a game of patience. And guys, Bitcoin right now, again, this is probably the last chart we'll share here, is like it's chopping its levels. And I always said that green is for buying. And it's very obvious why, right? Like resistances do not break on the first try. I know we got above this area a couple times. We traded above it, bounced off of it, but we weren't able to hold it, right? So it does turn into a rejection level on April 23rd here. And we're pretty much broke below it. So until we break above these highs and see that with volume, see that with massive momentum to the upside, we can't really say that this is pretty much a level of support. Not just yet, but right now, like if price were to ever fall to 52K, that's obviously a buy zone. But again, I'm just patiently waiting, patiently buying. I'm not in a rush, and everything will continue to go slowly, guys. This stuff is going to go up no matter what, in my opinion. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Even coins like Woo, guys. I mean, listen, I am super bullish on Woo as well. I think this is going to go absolutely much higher. But again, it's going to take more time because it's like Crown, for example, where it's at a phase that, it's correcting, right? Like I do think that this level is probably going to start going to the upside. Like I do think it's bottomed out for the most part, but it's going to take more time to grind up to get to all-time highs versus coins like Bonk, which is pretty much not that far from all-time highs. So again, it's going to require patience. It's going to require time, but at the end of the day, have your own strategy. Don't get blind and look at the narratives, guys. Gaming, AI, and I do believe meme coins right now have the strongest narratives. Meme coins being number one in my opinion because they just gain so much attention. Jito is also another one that is on my hold list, and I do think this is actually going to go much higher as well. I think it's going to double digits. So do what you will with that information, guys. None of this is financial advice anyways, and as always, haro haro haro. Peace.